I came into office and I faced the largest budget deficit in the history of our state, $8 billion. I said when I was running during the campaign that we needed to balance the budget and we needed to reduce our costs, which means our taxes. We're the 7th highest tax state in America. Ohio, in the last 10 years, has lost more jobs than any state in America except for Michigan and California. Michigan, auto-dependent. California, wackadoodles. I mean, okay? So, you think about that. It's breathtaking, isn't it? 1/3 of our college students leave Ohio after 3 years. When our young people leave, what are we supposed to do? I mean, Joe told me, he said, one of the things we need to do is to bring more young people into this business. But if they're all leaving Ohio, and you know why they're leaving, maybe they can do better somewhere else. Now, families are leaving Ohio. We're going to lose 2 congressional seats. Texas grew faster in 5 months than we did in the last 10 years. Think about Cleveland. And oh, by the way, I just want you all to know that we have so much good sports news. You know, it's not a coincidence the Indians are in first place and I'm governor. Now but you know, if you want to boo, let's boo the fact that Miami won yesterday, right? That's no good. Exactly. We want, whoever LeBron's playing, we want him to win. So you face families leaving, population losing, young people leaving, and an $8 billion deficit. What do you want me to do? Try to do stuff to do nothing so I can, blame somebody else? It's not why I ran for this job. I ran for this job because, first of all, I was the chairman of the Budget Committee in Washington and the lead architect leading a team into negotiations in 1997 that resulted in the first balanced budget in Washington we had since man walked on the moon. We paid down the biggest amount of the national debt in the modern history of the country. And think about that period of the middle 90s until after the turn of the century. We were doing pretty well. Families were stronger, the economy was stronger, everything was going well. Then they lost their minds down there and spent money like it's water. Now we're $13 trillion in the hole. I'm glad John Boehner is the speaker because, he's from Ohio and his father was a bar owner. He's one of 9 kids. He gets it. He knows that debt is bad. But you spend your time thinking about what's happening down there and they just point at one another. And we don't know how they're going to get it fixed. That's not what I chose to do in Ohio. So I pledged to balance the budget. And we have taken every single program on that we have in the state of Ohio to reform it, to improve it, at times to shrink it, and also to get my agencies, departments, and bureaus to operate like a family operates. If you got less money, you got to figure out what your priorities are. We just passed through the Ohio House a budget that eliminates the $8 billion budget deficit and maintains the income tax cut that we all got, which is critical to Joe, because as a small businessman, when he adds this thing on here, he's making a personal investment, he pays the income tax as a small businessman. So as we can lower our costs, it helps families to be stronger. But let me tell you what I face every day. Companies, we're starting to win some of this. American Greetings wanted to leave Cleveland. They didn't leave. Diebold was going to leave and go to Georgia. They didn't leave. Bob Evans was thinking about moving their headquarters to Texas. They didn't do it. Goodyear just announced that they're going to have their new world headquarters because they thought the environment was better. And we have many other things going on in Ohio as well, because people are beginning to think that maybe it's not politics as usual. These people must be serious. They're balancing their budget. They're reducing taxes. We're eliminating silly rules and regulations that get in the way of businesses being able to be successful so they can hire more people. And we're also, in the process, giving people the tools they need to cope with fewer resources. And let me just take a second and just hit the nail on the head on Senate Bill 5, which you hear a lot about. Now, if you are a typical private sector worker, you pay on average 23% for your health care costs. If you're an average city worker in Ohio, you pay 9%. So that means if you're a private sector worker, you're paying for your own health care and part of somebody else's health care. That's not fair. Now let me tell you about the pension situation. Most people in Ohio now, they don't have a guaranteed benefit. If you're lucky, you have a 401k with a match that doesn't go up and down. If you're a government worker, you have a guaranteed benefit package. And many of the public employees don't pay for their pensions, or pay very little for their pensions. So you pay for your own 401k and you pay for somebody else's pension. You like that? You didn't know that. So what we tried to do here is to give our cities and our school districts the ability to manage their costs. Because if they think that they can raise taxes, they're going to end up driving businesses out. The mayor here, he eliminated the taxes on capital gains, so he didn't drive the job creators out of this area. You beat people up who are investors and job creators. Listen, they're going to go someplace else. So what we're attempting to do is without political considerations. Let me give you a good example. My director of mental health told me that if we don't build a new mental hospital in downtown Cleveland, but we fix our facility in Summit County, in Northfield, if we do that, we will not need any capital improvements for 4 years, and we can reduce $4 million in operating expenses. I had to tell the mayor we're not building a new building. It's not pleasant. I said, Mayor, I can't put the building of a new building ahead of the clients. Now that's not politics as usual, folks, because I don't practice politics as usual. There was a guy in my house today fixing our oven. Yeah, we get broken ovens in the house too. And he said to me, my wife and I like you because we notice that at times you make decisions that may not be popular, but we respect that. See, because I know that if we can get ourselves straightened out through this period, balance budgets, take on special interests, strip the politics out, reduce costs, be business friendly, that we'll finally come through the thicket and come out into the sunlight. And then Ohio can be healthy again. If we do not do it, we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it. Young people will continue to leave, families will continue to leave, our cities will continue to shrink. Not on my watch will I sit back and let that happen. So I had to make a partnership with the legislature. I don't get everything I want there, but we are making great gains. And what Joe wants out of us is, please just stay out of our hair, because we're doing well. What does Joe also want? He wants some of these young people to realize that a job at a place like Kalt is a good job. We got to stop putting people down who want to go into vocational education. Everybody wasn't made to have to go to a 4-year college. In fact, the guy was telling me yesterday that he has a house on Cape Cod. He says his next door neighbor is a plumber. He said, you know how much plumbers make these days? Nobody wants to be a plumber, so he's a plumber, so he's rich. He's got a house up on the Cape. We got to stress vocational education, and it can lead us to skills. And if we want to go on and go to community college, if we want to go on and go to college 4 years, we can do that. But the problem here is they can't find the workers for the job openings they have. We got to get that fixed. And we got to get these young people to understand, get your skills aligned with the opportunities that are out there so that when you graduate, you can get a job. And what a cool place this is. You can work on wind turbines, you can work on fuel cells. I mean, it's cool stuff. And then beyond that, you go up and see the Indians and hang out in the flats. Young guys, when you graduate, something to think about. So we are on the move. Instead of reading every day about something else leaving, you're starting to read about some successes. And what makes Ohio great? Well, one, it's people. Hardworking, God-fearing, common sense. What else works for us? Location. We are within 600 miles of 60% of America. And Ohioans are very good at making things. And making things matters again. It's not all about the internet anymore. It's about making things. And making them in China costs too much at times to ship them back here. We make them here and we beat them. So we got a lot of good things going for us. Here in Cleveland, just, in a nutshell, Parker Hannafin, the Eaton Corporation, Swage Law, this company right here, the Cleveland Clinic, Case Western, Cleveland State, University Hospital. Got tremendous assets here. We got to leverage them, got to recruit people, get out of our funk and sell how great the northeastern part of Ohio is. After all, I must like it. I've been here 19 times since the election.